Hello everyone, it's Sandra here, and this is Peekaboo, and this is right after, a few days after I pulled out worms and took them out to Gilligan. But I'm afraid, just like with the sister bin, Eat My Shorts, you can see there was a lot of dry carbon in the baiting zone. I left some of it behind here in Peekaboo, and that meant the worms did not vacate their cozy castings. I put these 2 tubs over top just to try to keep as much condensation in that area as possible. Didn't work. That carbon still looks really dry. Obviously, the worms are not going to go into something that looks as unappealing as that when they've got this yummy stuff to stay in. All right, so I have to make that look more appealing. So I'm going to do that in 2 ways. I'm going to add some yummy carbon, not just cardboard, some living carbon, and I'm going to add some yummy food. And 3 ways, and I'm going to add more moisture. The food has moisture, but I think I'm going to add even more moisture because this carbon here is not going anywhere until it gets thoroughly wetted down. I thought of a 4th way I can encourage worms into this area, and that is to make it feel a little bit more familiar. By putting some castings in through this new carbon area, which will now be the baiting area, this is the microbes from the remaining worm bin being infused into this this cardboard. Cardboard's pretty sterile. So what I'm doing is I'm basically inoculating this cardboard in the baiting zone. And that will not only help this cardboard break down more quickly, but it will also present a more appealing environment for the worms to move into. So just taking a little bit of the castings and spread it around is a way to accelerate the decomposition of carbon, especially carbon like this that has no living matter to it at all. Okay, and now some food. I'll just spread the food out over the whole width of this end of the bin. There we go. And now some living carbon. These are roughly sifted arborist wood chips. They have been sitting in a bucket for months. They have absorbed moisture from the winter air, the humid air through the winter. Haven't been out in the rain, but they've absorbed moisture. And since I've had them indoors for the past 2 weeks, I've also given them a couple drinks, if you like. So I know there'll be active microbes in that area. And the last thing I'm going to do to make this area more appealing than this area is I'm going to darken this area. First, should we take a look at the worms? Yeah, let's take a look at the worms first before we close off the bin. Let's see, how many worms is Peekaboo still hanging on to? Yeah. There's a pine cone. I can throw that into the baiting area because I'll move that out to Gilligan. I see some babies in here, which doesn't surprise me because as I was going through Gilligan's castings totes, if I saw cocoons, I would move them to either Eat My Shorts or Peekaboo. So I see some babies. And obviously some adult worms. And I still see, well, they are probably laying their own cocoons. There are cocoons in this material throughout. So there's my non-compostable Starbucks tea bag. So a healthy population of worms. I did pull I did pull some out in the baiting operation, but obviously I want more out. These guys need to be out of these castings and out into Gilligan. Just do this last corner. Worms in the avocado shell, or avocado stone rather. I'm not going to squeeze it because they're already in it. There's no point, and I could hurt the worms. Okay. So anything that's huge and I just want to move to Gilligan, I'll throw over here. This leaf stem. There we are. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do to make this area more appealing, so I'm going to take those takeout containers that I move worms and stuff around, and I'm going to invert them over this area. This is going to hold condensation in, and it's going to darken this area. Now you could achieve the same with a piece of brown paper or several layers of newspaper or cardboard. Darken the bait zone, keep this end exposed to light but not sunlight, and obviously I don't have a huge need to dry this area out either, so I am going to put the bubble wrap back on, but this area will not have any light protection, if you like, and this area will. Under those white tubs it will be darker, and because there could be worms stuck on this bubble wrap, I just make sure I tuck all the ends around so that any worms that try to climb their way off the bubble wrap are going to find their way back to the vermicompost. All right, so that's Peekaboo baited up. Hopefully I'll get another big chunk of worms to move out to Gilligan. Bye everyone.